Hey guys, Tom here from Metalloud, coming at you with part 3 of the Say Anything review series. This time we're looking at their follow-up to Is a Real Boy called In Defense of the Genre. God and death are none of my concern. No. Is a Real Boy really catapulted Say Anything into fame and success kind of overnight. You may have heard some of their songs previous to that album, like I mentioned, Colorblind, and there's a song, A Walk Through Hell, that kind of got pretty big over time, but they really just kind of exploded out of nowhere to most people, particularly with the track Alive with the Glory of Love, which was played over and over again, the music video for it. So after that, we were all kind of wondering, where do they go from here? It's one of the best indie rock albums that's ever been released. So how do they top that? Where are they going to go? All this fame, is it going to destroy them? What's going to happen? So they've delivered to us the album In Defense of the Genre, which is the most ambitious album that they've ever done and almost has ever been done in the genre itself. They give us 2 full-length CDs worth on one single LP that they're calling. There's so many songs, they're so varied and different that there's always something you're going to like about it. Instrumentally, they brought in so many different elements. I would never call it experimental per se, but there's pianos, there's heavy electronic work like on the song Baby Girl I'm a Blur. You have almost show-tuney sounds to some of the songs. You have light songs, you have hard rocking songs, you have acoustic songs, you have just so much going on that chances are you're going to find something. There are songs that lean towards pop punk, there's songs that lean towards more kind of just indie rock, and some that lean towards like hard rock. There's just so much on here that you really kind of, every time you listen to this album, you're going to find something different that you like or that you may have not noticed before on this. And that's the power of this album, that just musically it's just so diverse. They've just brought in so much and that they've done so much, and it's produced well. The fact that It Is a Real Boy kind of had that rough edge to it really led to its indie rock cred, and it was part of its charm. And here on In Defense of the Genre, everything is just polished to a sheen, and that's actually a good thing for this album. Everything's layered, the fidelity, the actual quality of the audio is very, very good, and nothing feels out of place on this album. And that's good when you're talking about an album that brings in so much instrumentally that things easily could get lost in the background or could have felt out of place or tacked on and things like that, which would have just kind of ruined this album altogether. And then you have the vocal work, which again is just fantastic from Max Bemis, and his lyrics all definitely stand out again on this album. They're biting, they're gripping, they're acerbic, they're at the same time charming. There's this sense of self-loathing, but at the same time it's also directed outward as well, but always brought back introspectively. And that's something that we can all kind of identify with. You know, you definitely kind of at times hate the world, but you also kind of feel like you hate yourself too. And at some point, we've kind of all gone through that, some of us our entire lives. So there's a huge draw lyrically to these, and it's done in such a lighthearted, kind of funny way that, you know, you never feel bad about listening to it or feeling those things, and you're kind of just relaxed and just poking fun at it. It's a fun way to deal with emotional issues that you may experience in your life. Speaking of vocals, this album also features a ton of different guest vocals on here, like definitely the heads of the pop punk genre scene at that time, like Hayley Williams from Paramore and Gerard from My Chemical Romance on here, doing just excellent work. And another reason they say this is well produced is because none of their parts feel out of place or tacked on. They don't feel like they just came into a studio, did their thing, and left. They feel like they were actually a cohesive part of these tracks, and it works for that, works better for that. They feel like these parts were written for them and for the songs themselves. They're not just stuck at the end or anything like that, or just, it doesn't feel like their part is out of place in the song itself. And that's one of the reasons why this album really works. So In Defense of the Genre definitely is the most ambitious album that Say Anything has done. while it trades in some of that rough do-it-yourself edginess that Is a Real Boy had for some studio polish, it doesn't really lose anything in the transition, and if anything, it kind of gains a lot. Chances are there's something that you're going to like about this album if you have even just a toe in the water of that sound, that genre, like I said, the indie rock, pop punk kind of scene that was going on at that time. If you're not familiar with this, you probably heard it called emo. This is a time when basically any band like that was kind of labeled as emo, still going through that kind of phase from the early 2000s to about the late 2000s. And this album really, if you even have just, an inkling of an idea that you like this sound, you're going to find something on here that you like, because it's just so diverse and there's just so much to it that you can't listen to this album and not find something that you enjoy, even if it's just an element or a part of a song. And even if you love this album, going back to it, there's always more to discover on this. There's always little bits that you probably never noticed before, even after 100 times listening to it. And that's why it really just works and becomes one of the best albums that they have actually done as far as style and substance. Thank you so much for watching part 3 of the Say Anything review series. Next time we'll be taking a look at their self-titled album. As always, I love hearing from you guys, so if you want to leave a comment down below, go ahead, like this video, and subscribe to the channel for more. I also want to take a few moments to give a shout out to my supporters here. I do have a Patreon. I kind of hate shilling for money or whatever, but, unfortunately, it's needed. And Patreon as well gives you the opportunity to not just support yourself, but to also give back to other artists that you enjoy, whether it be people who make videos like this or artists and things like that. So you're not just giving money to donate to somebody, you're also supporting artists in general. And I kind of live by the motto, support good shit. If you like something, if you enjoy what somebody is doing, support it. You don't have to do it financially. You could do it just by retweeting somebody on Twitter or sharing a Facebook post talking about that person's art. Anything that you can do that might seem so simple to you really is huge for support, be it a musical artist or somebody's trying to get their movies out there, somebody who has a podcast or anything at all. That's the way they build up. And if you hate seeing popular bands or popular movies and things that you don't enjoy, support the ones you do. And that's a very important thing, is just try to support in whatever way you can. And one thing I want to talk about is the shirt I'm wearing right now, which I'll give you a better look at. If you're familiar with the Netflix show, the Netflix original show Making a Murderer, you'll probably get that shirt. And they are available for purchase. They were done by a fantastic person called Sean from the podcast No Totally, who talks about movies with his co-host Brian, and in just a fantastic, funny way. I'll link everything down below. So if you want to get one of these shirts, you definitely can. As always, again, thank you so much for watching my videos, and stay tuned.